Oh, that feels like we are live. Welcome, everybody. After a month away for the three of us, there has been an episode of Alien the Colony in the intervening time, but we three have not met since last Macbeth was walking past. Oh no, that's entirely a different thing. Welcome to the Effect Podcast. I'm Matthew and I'm the GM. Over here is Tony, and he's a player, and he's also the brother of our co-host Dave, who is also another player. Say hello, boys.
Hello.
Hello. That was one of the clumsiest introductions I've heard in a long time, and you've got quite a long list of clumsy introductions, haven't you, Matt?
Yeah, you also refer to yourself in the plural.
Yeah, in the plural. I thought that as well. A little bit of schizophrenia going on here.
No, it's the royal we, which you've already been for, Dave, before you say it. I just wanted to beat you to it.
You did just beat me to it.
Sophisticated level of humour you can, at our age and level of sophistication.
You just get
the level of subtle satire humour that we went for we.
Our viewers
it was
less, though. Well, indeed, yeah.
We are almost a month away from the last time that we three met on this adventure, the Fire of the Icons. I believe it's called, but frankly, I haven't got a clue. It's so long since I played. So, Tony, we're looking at you to remind us what went on a month ago.
Well, also, luckily, you did send us a message in Discord with a little summary.
Do you know how I sent that message? I watched the bloody stream again, so I could remember.
Very good.
So we're time to do. Go on, Tony. I won't interrupt you anymore.
No, that's fine. I've interrupted away because I've vaguely just trying to interpret my very badly handwritten notes from last time.
Very good.
So we're in the village. The name
I won't interrupt you either. I'm just saying that as well.
This is the oldest book in the podcasters or the YouTubers bag, isn't it?
It's the oldest book in the bag.
The oldest book in the bag.
Oldest joke in the book. This is one of our best ever episodes. Welcome, everybody.
I knew something was wrong. My brain was obviously going, it's not book, it's joke. What are you doing? Can we come back after like 24 hours sleep?
No.
And maybe make some sense.
We're going to have a week's sleep after this episode. Well, we'll see how this episode ends. Some of us may be sleeping the eternal sleep. But, not that I want to scare you guys as players or anything, but carry on. Tony, let us not interrupt you anymore.
Well, if we're about to die, is it worth him actually updating us? Because then,
You're not necessarily about to die. I've put you in deadly situations before, and you've come out miraculously alive. So
that's true.
That's true.
So let's see what happens. And I'm talking about you, Dave, and you, Tony. Not actually about any of your characters. I'm softer than characters, but I've put you as individuals, real living people in death-defying situations.
Oh, you send some assassins around to our houses, have you?
And you have, frequently, but they keep coming back.
And I did
thwarted.
I was a passenger in a car that you were driving once, and that was a life-threatening moment.
Yeah, well, that was all your fault for pointing out the sign.
Putting out the sign.
Let's carry on. Let's
if you'd seen the sign, then I wouldn't have had to point it out. It was a sign from God that fell in the road and caused us to crash very fast. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Because we're 5 minutes in and we've done none of the episode, and that's like 3% of our, several percent of our show time.
Well, it's more than 3%. It's 90 minutes.
It is. Yeah. That's why I slowed down backtracked on my 3%.
90% of the book in the bag or whatever.
Oh, fuck you.
Right, Tony.
I'm changing my personal problem here and now from I will not sacrifice Yaqub to I will sacrifice Yaqub.
Whenever possible.
Excellent. At every opportunity. I will just remind everybody that if you want to know when we're streaming and what we're streaming, the best thing you can do is like this video for a start, then press the subscribe button, which is probably down that end, really. And also press the little bell icon, and then something flashes up as soon as we put something up. There may be a game on Thursday, but it won't be Alien the Colony. Dave, do you want to tell us why?
No, we're just going to have a pause for that for a couple of months for various reasons, largely around my time and availability to be able to run it. So it looks like we might be running something else on Thursday, which I won't be involved with. But are we definitely going to stream that? So
I think we probably should stream it. I think that's what we're trying to do. I mean, people want to see a bunch of middle-aged men playing that game. I'm sure.
you want to see a bunch of middle-aged men playing Night Witches role-playing game, which is the game that
it may or may not be Night Witches. We'll wait and see. Anyway, carry on. Yaqub, tell us what happened a month ago. Or Tony, tell us that.
So 6 minutes. What percentage of our time is that, Tone?
Probably a little bit over 6%.
You can't survive just by not starting the game until the end of the
divided by 9%. Anyway,
this is called filibustering.
Yes, anyway, did we all have nice holidays away? Matthew, you went away for a bit as well, didn't you?
We all had nice holidays away, yeah, but come back to the game. What was the last thing that happened?
Right.
Well, we're on Ordana in a village called Kachi Village, where there is apparently a load of undercover Nazareem sacrifice agents. Our supposed employers, the Asturban, have sent us here.
Well, they are our employers, aren't they?
You're actually employers. They're the ones giving you money. I just want to
They are the ones giving money, although I'm not sure we're necessarily fully behind doing everything else.
No.
So we got a message from them after we had arrived, actually, on my time lock message on my tabula, that's saying that the Hegemony has proposed a partnership with the Nazareem sacrifice.
Oh, that was it.
And identified 3 potential allies amongst the Nazareem sacrifice agents in this village. Bazira, Farouk, and Ila or Iala.
Ila Uba.
The Nazareem sacrifices apparently have knowledge and caches of ancient artifacts, which could be useful. So our mission is to contact the potential allies and propose this partnership, eliminate any others who won't cooperate, and the ones that will cooperate, we're to extract them and deliver them to our contact at the portal station in Altai.
Do we suspect that if we start killing off the uncooperative ones, the ones who are cooperative might become a bit less cooperative?
That can't be ruled out.
No.
So we had a meeting with some of them. So we had breakfast with Basira, who's
the boss of them,
kind of the leader of the other council.
You had a breakfast with Basira,
Elam, who is her husband, and
yep.
Toran Matouche, who is the police master and also the
trade
charge
guy.
Of trade. So we got the impression that I think we did kind of drop some vague hints about possible kind of cooperation, and we managed to arrange for Bazira to later on show us around the still where they make their rice wine.
Yes,
along with Farouk, Farouk Norak, who is one of the others identified as a potential ally of the Hegemony. The other potential ally was Iala Ubar, who is considered marked by the icons, and even though she's only a young girl or teenage girl, she's on the council for that. She is the shaman of the village. So she was out in the fields blessing the crops. So we were kind of going out before we were going to go and meet Bazira and Farouk to be shown around the rice one still. We were going to go and see this shaman in the fields, and I think that's what we left. We were kind of on our way to that.
Yes, I watched I watched most of the last episode, but you spent about the last 20 minutes of the last episode vacillating on what you were going to say to her when you approached her, and having a discussion about full auto and whether Dave had used full auto in the last few weeks after a comment from Bruce. Bruce is here. So don't start that discussion again, Bruce. I'm warning you. Otherwise, I won't let you play on Thursday. Bruce isn't playing on Thursday anyway. So we had that discussion, and then I said, meet us here again at the next session with a carefully worked out plan of conversation. And obviously, nothing has been occupying your two minds other than that potential conversation.
Well, I think if you just stopped there, that's probably the most appropriate. Nothing.
Yes. That pretty much sums it up.
So you saw her, I think, in the field, didn't you?
Yes, we did. There were quite a few other people around, obviously people working in the field. So I think we thought that we would not be able to get into a position where we could talk to her without being overheard, potentially by someone else. So I'm not sure we had come up with a plan of what we were actually going to say.
You had a month to think about it.
Yes. But we didn't.
But you didn't. Right, jolly good. Okay.
Unless you did, Oshian. No, we didn't.
Yeah, I mean, we'd felt a bit uncomfortable just, talking to her in the field and where everyone could see us. If we were going to have a conversation that she might not
agree to.
Well, she might not take it very well. Even if deep down she might, she is sympathetic. She might feel like she's being tested or something.
Yeah, and possibly going up to her and saying, "Oh, are you sympathetic to as your Nazareem sacrifice? Are you up for having an alliance with the Hegemonic?" Or like other people around as well, that might not be the most
subtle way of going about it.
Subtle approach.
No.
So you saw her working in you saw she was surrounded by workers in the fields. They were blessing the fields. Flower arrangements were being cast upon the water because the fields are all this is quite a mountainous area. So the lowland fields are all quite close by.
What time of day is it?
Do you think you could separate it? Well, it's kind of midday.
All right. Okay. So it's quite.
Because you met her after breakfast. So you'd had breakfast with the others. And then you had a little bit of a discussion with somebody who's very upset that her husband had been banished without an opportunity for her to say goodbye.
Yeah.
A little bit early, apparently. He was planning on you and I think everybody had the impression that he was going to be marched out of the village in the morning, but it appears to have occurred earlier in the evening. Yes. And then you went off to find her, and you did find her. It may have taken an hour or so. I can't remember exactly what.
Remind me, what's her name again?
Her name is Ila Uba.
That's the one. Yeah. Okay. Aoubah. Ubah. Okay. And how are the other people here? Thanks, Jonathan. So what about full auto then, Dave? He says, good man. Well, full auto. So did the people, are they liking what she's doing, or are they like tutting, or is she well supported? and well liked by all the people here?
They so what, from the people that are evident there in the fields, they seem to be supporting it across the whole town. I think you decided that people thought she may be a bit strange when you were looking for her. But
She's very young, isn't she, as well?
Yeah.
Yes, to be on the council.
Yeah. Okay. So with Bazira, we did a little, really clever and subtle little conversation about what we might have to offer and alliances that could be helpful and what people are really trying to achieve in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So we could be equally subtle this time, and
So what actually is our objective? Are we going to fulfill our mission for the Hegemonic? Is that what we're trying to do? And delivering these Nazareem sacrifice people to our Asturban contact?
So let us just
Or we can
remind
find out who
you,
they are and then just kill them.
your objective was to find out more information. Your original objective was
to find out more about,
given the
yes,
detail that these people
the
were
Nazareem sacrifice.
Nazareem
Yeah.
sacrifice. You, I think, came really just to find out whether that was true, identify them, and find potentially some evidence against them. Your instructions from the Asturban were given to you time locked, and it appears
Yeah.
location locked. So they didn't send you, and they haven't communicated with you since you've arrived. Just a set of instructions have appeared,
Set to be
set
revealed.
to appear if
this
you, I
location.
think, came here to the planet.
So
or
I'm
even to this location, yeah.
So I'm thinking that we want what we think is best for the horizon out of all of this.
Yes.
Handing off these guys to the Asturban might not be the best thing for the horizon, and actually having Nazareem sacrifice running around and doing stuff with these butterfly ships might not be a good thing either.
No.
But is there something that the Asturban are up to that it might be worthwhile us playing along with a little bit, to try and work out what the Asturban's plot is in all of this? So what I'm thinking is, if we do convince 2 or 3 of these to come with us, we then have to obviously go through portal space at some point. I rig their stasis pods so they don't come out when we come out the other side, and then we take one of them out and torture them, or hand them over to Alarm's Temple for Alarm's Temple to get the information out of them. But we then hand on one of them to the Asturban. Something like that. We would have to explain why suddenly there's only 2 of them left when there were 3 of them, or there's only 1 of them left. But that we could easily explain that.
Or we could just tell the Asturban that, if we get 3, convince 3 to come, say, we could only convince 2 of them to come.
Yeah. And I'm more talking about the people, the actual Nazareem sacrifice, because they might say, Bob came as well. But I don't know what the fuck happened to him, though.
No, that's a valid point.
I've got a sneaking suspicion they're not going to say Bob came, given that one of them is called Basira, the other one is called Farouk, and the third one is called Ela.
Thank you, Matthew, for that.
Sorry, I'm just...
Totally pointless comment. Thanks, pal. But you get my point, though, is what I was after.
But it's not me that has to get your point. It's your fellow player here and conspirator.
Well, and I think my fellow player and conspirator got the point entirely well without you clarifying it for him.
Yes, I did understand that when you said Bob, you weren't implying that one of the names of the people we were involved was, in fact, Bob.
Right. Yes. So if we think that's a decent or an okay plan, we can go ahead with the Asturban,
Yes.
pretending that we're doing the Asturban's bidding, but not actually, but with a subtler plan within their plan, as it were.
This smacks of a player who has thought about this a little in the last month and worked out that he's helping ally the space Nazis with the mad fanatics of another country and gone, am I the baddie? He said.
Yeah, precisely. Yes. So I'm certainly thinking that we need to be getting alarms temples on board, or at least knowing what's going on.
The Cold Flame as well, was that
Yeah.
organization? Are they? Do we know? Were they kind of? Do they have any connection with Alarms Temple or natural affinity?
They're Salesians, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I guess not particular. They're both first come, but apart from that,
I think what your
although
sister
Alarms Temple did play an important role in the Portal Wars, killing off, assassinating the leaders of the Nazareem sacrifice.
did they? I can't remember.
Yeah, they
The
did.
Draconites did, definitely.
The Black Lotuses of Alarms
Black
Temple were
Lotuses,
involved
okay.
with assassinating leaders of the bad guys.
Yes, according to what your sister has told you, the history, then that may well be true. She's also said that the Legion, the Zelosians, and the Draconites were allied against the Nazareem sacrifice. Obviously, the Legion and the Zelosians are no longer bosom pals.
No. So should we carry on the plan then, as if we're working for?
Yes. Okay. Let's.
For Asturban. Now, what are the Nazareem sacrifice going to want from that? What can the Asturban offer them?
I guess resources, intelligence.
What do you think the Nazarene sacrifice aims and objectives are?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or rather, shall I say, what do your players think?
I mean, do you think they're basically planning to assist with an invasion of the Third Horizon from the First Horizon?
It does seem to be kind of, yeah. Well, in which case, but I guess, what's their objective beyond that? Do they want then to rule the Third Horizon, or do they want to use the Third Horizon as a breeding ground of people that they can torture and maim and do horrible things to in the name of their icon? Or is it more advanced than that? Is there something more important than that going on? But I guess either way, we probably don't want it to happen, do we?
No, I would think probably not.
Shall we go and try and convince Ela then? The similar conversation. Or do we just want to leave Ela for the moment and concentrate on Bazira?
Well, at least Bazira and Fruit, we'll have a good chance of getting them on their own. It's probably worth introducing ourselves to Ela, even if we just keep up the kind of cover that
we're traders.
You wanted to, pay respects to her as the kind of acknowledged spiritual leader of the village.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that then, shall we?
Sorry, let's do what?
What Tony just spent the last minute explaining.
Say we're going to do that. Tony?
We're going to do that. Now
let's just do that. Obviously, Matthew was listening to everything we were saying, obviously. So we'll do that.
I may not have been.
We're going to talk to Ela, but just to kind of introduce ourselves, use the cover that we had before.
Which is that Oshian wanted to pay his respects Oshian,
Yeah.
specific, particularly to the acknowledged spiritual leader of the village. Which is
I don't
obviously
think
herself.
he's listened that
I'm
time. either.
listening.
Hey, you don't look like you are.
I am listening. Carry on.
Okay, that's what we're doing then.
So that's what we're going to do.
Okay. Right. Nothing is more complex than that. Sorry. I thought I'd missed a vital thing about what you're going to do next, but you're just going to go in there and wing it, and then Dave's going to make all the manipulation rolls, right?
No, that isn't what we said at all, Matt. And we've said it twice now.
No, you're going to go in there and say you're paying respects, but I haven't heard what you're going to do afterwards.
We're going to then go and see Bazira and Freak and talk to them.
All right.
Afterwards.
So I think it's more fruitful to wait and approach Bazira with our plans rather than try and spill the beans with this little girl,
Especially
in a
with other
field.
around,
Yeah.
Right. So you're not going to even pay respects to her.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are going to pay respects to her, but
just
to introduce
right.
ourselves.
Right. Okay.
But we're not. I think going to, in any overt way, going to try and broach the subject of.
No.
Okay. So she's a young woman. As you approach, she seems even younger than you thought she might have been. Oh no, I think you already worked out she's like 12 or something. But she looks 12. You know, she's relatively thin and small. And although she, you know, the sort of orbit of people in the fields is around her, she looks slightly out of place, a bit like a lost child in a way, except people keep deferring to her as they go about their work. The ceremony, though, as you've been watching and discussing this, has kind of ended, and now people are actually working the fields, hand planting a lot of this, the rice and things. And she's kind of standing there a little bit alone, not so out of everybody's hearing that you suddenly think, oh, let's change our plans and kidnap her or anything. But she's still standing there.
That was ever our plan. Kidnapping it. Not yet.
No, I'd say, so you're not going to think that, is what I'm saying. Not so alone.
Good, because we weren't anyway.
Thanks for telling us what we're not going to think. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us that we're not thinking?
I didn't want to look like I was tempting you into saying that they're all so far away that you could whisk her off. But she's standing a bit alone, is what I'm trying to say, in the fields.
Okay.
As you approach. And she doesn't seem to have any sort of hangers-on or entourage specifically to her.
I'm leaving the talking up to Yaqub.
Good choice, Dave. He's got a manipulation skill.
He does.
We'll approach and say, at a kind of a pause in, we might kind of interrupt her mid chant if she's doing
mid blessing, yeah.
But we'll wait till
as I say, the ceremony
seems
to have finished, and she just seems to be sort of standing there now. So she's not doing the blessing act has finished.
Okay. So we'll approach and say, Yala Uber, may we interrupt you for a moment to pay our respects? Would that be acceptable?
Turns to you and hold on a second. I think she will do a thing straight away. Give me a moment.
You see, we don't actually have to waste time ourselves, do we, Tony? All we have to do is get the scenario to move on a bit, and Matt has to go and read it.
And that's looking up her stats to be.
Her stats?
Okay.
She's going to attack us. We're going to get in a fight already.
Yeah. Although I do seem to remember that their stats are. Oh, there we go. Okay, what's your reputation at the moment?
5 for me.
5.
Okay, fine. And There we go. So I'm spending a darkness point.
Okay.
And she smiles at you.
Both of us.
Oh, no, you, Tony, because you're the one that did the talking. Darkness point is going back in the darkness point pool. The access darkness point pool, not my darkness point pool.
No, because that would just be cheating.
She smiles at you
Take you back
and
again.
says, "Ah, yes, you have come to pay your respects before going on to meet Basira and Farouk."
Indeed, yes. They've promised us a tour of the still.
So it seems you're hoping to convince them to come with you.
Well, you seem to see a lot, Yala.
It is said I am touched by the icons.
And what do you think? What do you think their response might be if that was indeed our intention?
Subtle.
I'm not saying it is, obviously, but
Sophie did
if
say
it
that.
was,
What do you think they would?
Sorry, just repeat that question.
and what do you think their response would be if that was indeed our intention?
I think positive, she said.
And what about yourself? If you were included in that, what would your response be?
If I was included in an invitation to
Yes.
come with you,
Yes, if such a thing were to be forthcoming.
I'm going to spend another darkness point. To meet the Asturban, she says.
Doesn't Tony get
all the others?
Doesn't Tony get an empathy opposed roll against that?
I don't think so.
No.
No, I can check if I were you. But
I don't mind. You're the GM. You're the GM. So
I think maybe if you had Mystic Powers talent, he would recognise it.
No, I don't.
I'm reading these as surface thoughts, I think, but I think it's just an automatic success.
Okay.
We'll check.
But obviously, Tony is not thinking, let's get them to the Asturban. Let's get them to the Asturban. Because we're not actually thinking of getting them to the Asturban. Our plan is not to do that at the moment. Although that might be worse.
You want me to interpret her voice? You want me to go even deeper that you're going to torture one of them and give one of them to the Asturban?
No, I think what I'm doing is I'm trying to think very clearly and strongly. Yes, we're taking you to the Asturban because they're proposing a partnership. I'm definitely not thinking about torturing and handing them over to Alarm's Temple or anything.
Are you not thinking about torture? Can I be really
Definitely
clear?
not thinking.
Because I become quite a lot of torture vibes.
No torture.
I'm definitely thinking nice friendly chat with the Hegemony. He could propose a very useful alliance to both sides.
Good for everyone. Everyone was a winner.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they just happened. To activate a power, you must pass the Mystic Powers test, which I've done.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no particular defense against it. I'm
going with Bruce's suggestion. I'm thinking about capybaras. Little fluffy bundles of fun gambling about.
She'll have you arrested.
Yeah, I have to say, would you like to come and see my capybara? A 4-year-old girl. It's probably not a good look.
No,
not for you in this village, Not for this podcast.
Let's move swiftly on. shall we,
Very
Jack?
swiftly.
Yes.
So you're a little bit thrown by this.
Are we?
Yeah.
Isn't that
Well,
our
I mean,
decision?
you are, Tony. I mean, I'm not sure. You know, you're
are you
witnessing.
thrown by this, Tone?
Well, possibly a little bit, because clearly she's, it's fairly obvious she's just read my mind, but she's obviously read the bit about the Asturban, which
And
is
not the rest.
fine if they're
They
positive
are,
towards that.
yeah,
But like I
yeah.
say, there are possibly some deeper thoughts that we might not want them to read. So
Yeah.
the fact that she can read my mind is probably is a little bit unnerving. But I'm definitely very much trying to very consciously think about the nice, friendly hegemony in a partnership, nice chat.
Right. Okay. Given that you're now thinking about the fact that she's reading your mind, and you can see me spending a darkness point again. What are you trying to do to hide the fact that you're thinking of double crossing the Asturban?
Well, I think I'm just going to be thinking that I'm not going to try and hide the fact that I'm slightly disturbed by the fact she's read my mind, but I'm trying to very strongly the impression that I'm thinking that because she has correctly read the fact that we are from the Asturban and we want to invite them to a meeting.
Okay, I'm going to get you to make an empathy roll.
Just empathy?
Just empathy.
Okay. And does that mean I can't push it?
That does mean you can't push it, and you really want to get 2 successes.
Oh shit!
That's with my 4 dice. That's probably going to be problematic, I'd imagine. I don't get 2 successes. I get no successes.
Okay. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, as it were, and she's going to say to you, "I think you're hiding something. That you're not telling the whole truth."
Well, so far we haven't told you anything. You've just read my mind. I've said nothing. I've said very little.
Well, let us be frank then, shall we, Yaqub? Seeing this talented young lady who's obviously divined our true purpose here already.
Well, absolutely. Your powers are impressive. We are indeed here representing the hegemony. We are employed by the Asturban. The hegemony believes that a partnership between yourselves and the hegemony could be mutually beneficial to both parties. We have been asked to invite some members of your group to meet with a representative of the hegemony in the Altai system. So you were absolutely correct in everything that you divined. Our information suggests that you may well be one of the people who might be open to such partnership.
Interesting.
As well as
my name was singled out. I am but a young girl, and yet already I am famous in other systems.
You are a young girl, but clearly a young girl with some impressive powers and clearly
someone who's been blessed by the icons. Clearly,
considered, with great respect by the people of this village, as your place on the council attests.
Very well, she said. I will consider your offer, but answer me this question. If I accept, how would you bring the Asturban to me or take me to these Asturban?
Uh,
Can I
the
just
offer.
check? Actually, have you actually said that word to her, or have you just said there's anything hegemony?
I did say the Asturban. Yeah, I said that
Okay.
it's the Hegemony making the offer, but we're employed by the Asturban. I did say that. Yeah, I mean she said it first, so I'm not going to deny it.
Yeah.
That part of it. We have a ship parked at wherever it's parked. Can't remember the name of the town.
I was puzzled because we have zealots here who prefer no ships to fly or land nearby.
We're not parked particularly nearby. We did land at a spaceport, the name of which escapes me now, and we arrived in the village by boat along the river.
Excellent, because or any Uanu would have spotted you and immediately would have raised concerns in the council. You are very wise men. But if you take us from the village where, and she looks to the workers now working in the field, where these people value our input, how will you get us to your ship?
But the same way that we got here, on a boat along the river.
We have come here as traders in order to set up a mutually beneficial trading relationship with the town here, and we have claimed to have some access to religious artifacts. And so we would think perhaps the cover for your departing with us would be a short trip, because it would only need to be a few days, in order to check our bona fides and check our merchandise. And hopefully that might be enough to assuage any concerns the villagers might have that you wouldn't be returning, because obviously you would be free to return. And the trip would only be a few days, so it would hopefully.
I'm spending another darkness point. So you've just told me you were lying. You said those words, that you're not traders.
No, we're not traders. You've already divined through reading my friend and colleague Yaqub's mind that we are employees of the Asturban and the Hegemonic, and we have been sent here to try and open a communication with you and your some of your fellows here in this village that our employers think would be mutually beneficial to everybody. Obviously, we couldn't just walk up here and say, "Hey guys, we're from the Hegemony. Do you want to come and talk to us?" So we had to come here under a cover. So we've come under the cover of traders, and we could use that cover to safely arrange your travel out of the village for the few days it would take to have the meeting with the representative of the Hegemony.
It will take longer than a few days. There's a portal jump.
Well, how far are we from the portal here? I'm saying as a player, not as a character.
I think it took you a couple of days to get here from the portal.
So that's 4 days then, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 days with the travel to the town and back. So it took a couple of weeks. It's just like going on holiday.
Make a empathy roll.
Yeah, that's not necessarily my best thing to do. I get no successes.
I'm going to spend another darkness point. But you don't want to take all of us to the Asturban. You have another destination in mind.
We don't want there are 3 people that we were advised might be willing to come with us. So no, we don't wish to take all of you to the Asturban.
Because we feel that, or
We only
employees
wish
feel that not all of you would necessarily be amenable to such partnership.
So we only wish to take
Those
3 of
who
you
would be
with us. I'm choosing my words very carefully here, Matthew. So I'm not lying in any of this at the moment.
You do not dissemble as well as your partner Yaqub.
Well, he's the brains, sweetheart.
It will take some convincing for the villagers to let you sail away with a boat with 3 of their elders. I speak. I speak metaphorically, because obviously I do not appear old, but I am considered an elder, a member of the council.
Yes. Presumably, as members of the council, your judgment is respected by the villagers here.
How many members of the council are there in total?
The council are pretty much all the agents that you have.
Just pull it, honey.
So that's, what is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8.
And maybe if you feel that 3 is too many to leave, it is possible that
we would obviously be guided in this matter and listen to your counsel and your advice.
if say only 2 were considered able to leave, then that might be perfectly acceptable to our employers.
If only there was some way for you to earn the trust of the village, she says.
If only. What way is there that we can earn the trust of the village? I've already
send us on a side quest and we can complete that.
Okay, I'll go down the road and look for the guy with the big question mark over his head, and I'll talk to him first. I've already tried to help pay respects and help do some ministrations to the poor criminal who yesterday was cast into the wasteland. And
she giggles when you say that.
That's fine.
Like a 12-year-old girl might giggle.
That's fine. You know, whatever. And I feel that maybe those who cared about him might have had some warm feeling towards the fact that I was trying to help.
Cared about him, but he was a murderer. He beat somebody to death. He tried to rob somebody. He was tried.
Everybody is entitled to appeal to the mercy of the icons, even if the icons' judgment is not merciful.
No, indeed. Which icon do you think judged that murderer?
I'd need to check my book.
Do you want to take some time out to check your book? You feel in her asking the question that she's leading you into a trap with your answer.
Yeah. And it's probably the right answer she might want to hear is probably the beast then.
Tony, are you thinking of anything you want to say while he's contemplating that answer?
I probably am going to just make small talk, just to try and not let her read my mind anymore.
Okay.
So yes, I will.
So what are you filling your
Ask about
mind
what-
with?
I'm just can ask some banal questions about so what are the crops are you blessing here in the
Oh, it's mostly rice. We do grow some other food crops, but the best soil here is that which is in the narrow valley floor, she says, and that is wet and also a grass that thrives in wet conditions is the better crop. Do you want me to point you to the page, Dave?
No, I'm there now. So, I'm not going to read it all again to remind myself what they all are. So, I'm going to say my answer is many, if not all, of the icons would take interest in the crimes and misdemeanors and the judgment of someone who comes under the icon's control and divinity. I would say that for myself, the Lady of Tears would be guiding the poor fellow towards the fate that perhaps one such as the dancer might bestow upon a man like that.
I'm going to put another darkness point, which is good because I'm getting rid of darkness points here. She smiles in a way that you think she's toying with you somewhat, and I will just say that I now have 8 darkness points left.
She can keep toying with me if it burns the darkness points up.
Although at some point you might have to full auto her because if she's going to read our minds. And
yeah, I know exactly. What's going on. Is that what you're saying?
She turns to you.
Didn't need to read your mind.
What is this word,
did you, bitch? Let me demonstrate.
No,
I'm not saying that.
Well, of course you're not saying that.
I'm not even thinking it. I'm not even thinking it.
I'm definitely not thinking it either.
Well, let me think on this, on your kind offer. You'll find me, if you want to see me again, either at, I have, and she points out across the valley to the other side of the river where most of the village is, a brightly coloured building stroke tent, kind of like a Mongol yurt. You will find me either there, my home, or in the temple. But now, she says, looking at the sun in the sky, it gets close to your meeting at the distillery. And she points the way up the road, which is going past the house that you're lodging in currently.
Yeah.
And to the distillery itself. If you want to look at maps, I can show you maps.
No, I can remember it. Shall we? I shall thank her for her time and for her wisdom, and it's been an honor meeting you, Ela. Someone as blessed by the icons as you. It's a blessing for those who get to meet you as well as it is for you to meet me. No.
Can I get you to make a manipulation roll and take one dice off? Because I'm
not trying to manipulate her. I'm genuinely trying to be nice.
Yeah, but you just screwed that up in real life, so I'm going to make you.
I made a joke for the pod for the show, and now I'm getting penalised for it. I've got 2 dice. Right then. Funnily enough, that wasn't a success.
Okay. Do you want to push it?
I'm not sure it's worth
a lot
pushing
of darkness points recently.
I'm not sure it's worth pushing it on 2 dice.
Okay, no, probably isn't. She smiles graciously as you stumble over your words and says, well, as I say, at my yurt or at the temple. And then she turns away from you and walks over to one of the workers to say something.
Okay. Let's. Is she saying, "See those two over there? Kill them,
Don't
will
kill
you?"
Maybe.
Okay. Let's head off to find what's her name? Bazira.
Bazira and Farouk.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I might actually call up the map. Let me just get the map.
So do we now want to just try and persuade Bazira and Farouk to come with us and not take the girl that can read our minds?
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea, actually.
What, you want me to get into this portal jump bed, and then you're going to torture me and find out what the plans are? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to share a screen.
I think we can always actually play Ela's line that all three of them going might seem a bit much, whereas a couple of them going as a as a trading mission might be more acceptable, and that we never ever see Ela again, unless it's on the business end of my rifle,
or if I've run out of darkness points, because then her mind reading powers become severely limited. So you've had this conversation kind of in these fields over here, and then you are. Oh, sorry, you need to be on the map.
Yeah, I can't see your cursor.
You've had the conversation. You see my cursor now in the field over here, and then you're walking along this road here. Now the house where you're staying is this one up here. So you'd normally go up the hill a little bit that way, but there is another low road past the fields here, and you're going to the distillery, which is here.
Yep.
Which route do you want to take?
Whichever is the more kind of obvious direct route, I guess. Or are they about the same?
Okay, I guess the lowest. I mean, you've got to climb up a hill and then walk down it. So I
guess let's take the low. Let's take the low road. We can make it look like we're sort of examining the location as well for our trade purposes, to make sure that this is a place that we want to trade with, and obviously nod friendly to the people if they look at us.
Okay.
Be respectful.
So these areas here are sort of in the water, and they are netted off sort of fish breeding centres here. And you can see, so the people you're meeting along the road here are
fish farmers,
tending to the fish, yes. And they look like what we might call trout, I think.
What the people do?
What people?
No.
It's Animal Akbar! It's a trap!
As you approach this building here, standing about where my cursor is, you see Bazira, and she's wearing a fresh, brightly coloured gown and a headdress, a headscarf, and she greets you with a broad smile and says, "I see you're not late."
No, of course not. We would not.
A little early,
we
she
keep
says,
you
picking up
waiting.
Well,
It'd be
very
much
gracious of you.
We would wait for you rather than the other way around. We'd not like to waste the time of such an important person as yourself.
Excellent. Thank you. Let me take you into the distillery and meet Farouk. Now, I'm just going to ask you as players, did you plan? I think I remember you planning that you were going to try and separate Farouk and Basira to have private discussions with each of them last time.
I'm not sure
Did
we
we?
were, because I think they were both on our list of potential allies,
Friendlies,
aren't they? So
yeah.
So you're
not
going
sure.
to talk to them
I
together.
think we can talk them together. In fact, as we're walking there,
Mhm.
a quick discussion about what we're going to do, because now that basically Arla has completely divined our plan, and presumably would then go and tell the others anyway. Should we just be kind of upfront about it with Basira and Farouk?
Probably, yeah. There's a little point. Little point being duplicitous about it now, is there?
If I was just going to tell them all anyway.
Well, we had tried to drop some hints, didn't we?
Yes,
Mhm.
we had, and we did get. I think we did get a
Positive
positive reaction from Basira,
vibes back, yeah.
or so we interpreted.
And she suggested. Well, actually, she suggested we spoke to Farouk, didn't she? But then we managed to persuade her to come along as well. So she might have been pointing us in the direction of Farouk because he was going to be like-minded to her. In which case, we probably should just be open with the pair of them.
Yeah.
And rely upon your manipulation skills.
Yeah, which is not that brilliant, really, to be honest. But there we go.
The one thing we haven't got a sense of is whether there are any schisms within the council and within the Nazareem people here, and whether when the other Nazareemis realise what's going on and they come after us, and we start maybe having a fight, what do the Nazareemis who are coming with us do? Do they go, oh yeah, fair enough, and they stab us in the back, or do they want to get away for this opportunity?
Well, there was no sense when we had like breakfast with Basira and Torren and Elam, even though Torren and Elam are not on our list of potential allies, but there was no. I don't think we got any sense of any tension between them and Basira particularly.
No, you did not.
No. So I think we need to be kind of open with them. We are possibly just walking ourselves into a situation where they try and kill us.
Well,
I'm sure they wouldn't just try and kill you.
No, they'd want to torture us a bit first.
Possibly.
I mean, they are worshippers of the beast after all.
That is true. Yeah.
But we'll leave that for. Don't forget I said that.
Well, do beastly things that mean that Oshian and Yaqub don't feature in the next episode. Put it that way.
Well, I don't know whether it's going to take half an hour for them to kill you. Sorry, you may be in the next episode. But the question is, will you be in the one after?
Nice. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just trying to.
So there is a significant risk here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have just walked in and basically gone, hey guys, we kind of know you're Nazareem sacrifice. Do you want to come and talk to the Asturban, who are the Nazis? No? Oh, okay.
But the thing is that game is already up because the island basically knows.
Yeah.
So unless she's just going to, for some reason of her own, keep quiet about that.
And she didn't turn around and immediately go, oh, bastards, kill them.
No, she did not.
No, and presumably it took us a while to walk down here, so
Yes, and you
she
don't
then
see
sneak off and go get the guards to come and kill us.
Yeah,
No.
Looking across the river as you walk and discuss this along the path, you're not seeing her hastily running across the bridges and rousing up the militia. No. And I imagine you do look across to see whether the militia's being
Yes,
roused.
absolutely.
No, nothing. Everything appears to be as normal.
Okay.
Appears. No.
In which case, we probably need to be upfront with them, and
Well, I think I think
Yeah.
The secrecy game is up already, really.
As we're walking up there, Matt, I'm going to surreptitiously take the safety off all the weapons I'm carrying.
Okay.
I'm going to unclip the little leather clasps that hold my blades in place, and I guess I would like to. Is there somewhere? Can I just stop and have a little pray on the way?
Well, yes, you haven't prayed in a temple.
No.
Since you arrived here, but so you don't get the +2.
No, but
you will get the if you stop anywhere and simply pray in preparation for the meeting, you will get +1 on rerolls.
Yeah.
Which icon are you praying to? I should get a little template up that shows this.
Yeah.
I'll make one. What skill do you want to use? What skill do you want better rerolls on?
Hand-to-hand combat is probably what I'm
Dancer then.
So it's
I'm going to pray to the merchant because I'm still hopeful that we're not going to get into a fight.
Okay. Merchant. Good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the dancer. Yeah. So that gives me dexterity and melee combat. Just feeling a bit exposed and out on a limb with 3 days worth of traveling across the deadly wasteland between us and the ship.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel.
No, I'm feeling now, personally, if I were in your position, I'd really want to have a ship nearby.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Can I surreptitiously carry 3 days worth of water and food?
What, now? In
Suddenly,
preparation? Why, that's a lot of canteens you have.
I just get very thirsty.
Right, but so you've had all that conversation. She's greeted you and has now turned you towards the distillery. There is a moment you can talk to her for a few minutes before you get to the distillery and are joined by Farouk, if there's anything you want to say to her. But you might just want to make small talk or not say anything at all.
I think if we're sufficiently, alone, then we should probably just lay out our cards on the table to her straight away.
Right. Okay.
I reckon. What do you think, Yaqub?
Yes, I think we might as well, because like I say, because Ayala's got it all anyway, so I think there's no point really in trying to be surreptitious anymore about it.
Yeah.
So thank you for talking to us. As you may have guessed, we're not just traders. We're here representing the Hegemony. Our employers believe that a partnership between themselves and your organization could be mutually beneficial. They've sent us to sound you out and ask if any of you would be prepared to come with us to meet with a representative of the Hegemony and the Altai system at the portal station to discuss how we might be able to help each other.
Okay, she smiles and says, you're being remarkably open. I am going to get her to make a manipulation roll versus your manipulation, even though you're not lying, just to see how much she believes you.
Well, you can ask Ina, whatever her name is. Ela.
Can I get a dice of help from Oshian?
You can get a dice of help, yeah. And and also if you re-roll, you'll get an extra dice. Yeah. Manipulation is an empathy talent, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So she looks at you. You see her taking, as she walks, she's looking sidelong at you, looking you up and down and taking a measure of you. And what did you get?
I'm pushing.
Oh, thank you very much.
And after pushing, I get a massive 1 success.
And do you roll your extra dice for pushing?
I did roll my extra dice,
Okay.
but I still only get a massive 1 success.
Okay. She says, well, that is remarkably honest.
We tried to
Yeah, I'll say
subtly try and signal over breakfast that we were possibly offering something more than just a trade deal. But obviously, as you can imagine, we were reticent and concerned about showing our hand too soon in case you were entirely opposed to the idea.
Do you imagine if I were entirely opposed to the idea, I would have invited you to this distillery?
No,
Away
exactly.
from the
Which is
likes of
why
Turan and
Turan
and Elam.
indeed,
And in
which
the
is
interest
which is
of-
precisely why we are being more open with you to show our good faith in this matter. Yeah, you say it, Yaqub. Go on.
I'm
Shut
saying,
me up.
and to be, brutally honest, in full disclosure, we did have a chat with your shaman, Iala, in the field just now, and she is a very perceptive person, and she divined our intent immediately without us saying anything.
You see a flicker of concern across her face, and she says, "And have you talked to any others of the council?"
No, we have not. We didn't intend to openly talk to Iala. She raised the subject after reading the intent from my mind directly. So it was not our intention to be so open and upfront, but I think our hand was forced slightly by your extremely talented shaman.
She says, what does she say precisely? Give me a moment.
We wouldn't want a careless word said in a spur of a moment by a talented young lady to damage the possible fruits of a excellent relationship that we could build.
So we might have to brutally murder her. Not saying that. Definitely not saying that.
Or
we've been
thinking it.
Yeah, Thomas, we said that a little earlier. That as we're starting to realise that we are bringing together the mad cultists and the space Nazis, kind of thinking, that's not really what we want to be doing right now.
She says, I think, truly the icons have blessed you, for you have been careless. And she says it in quite an admonishing tone, but you have also been fortunate. Of all those you might have revealed your true intentions to, Eula and myself, and indeed Farouk, who we shall meet, would be the most receptive. The others are, shall we say, insular, and she pauses and puts her hand on yours, Tony, to stop you moving. We can talk with Farouk as openly, but not in front of any of the others in the distillery.
We understand, and to be honest, it was not our intention to be this open at this point. It was
forced upon us.
Ila did basically read my mind, and she raised the subject, and we didn't. So
she is indeed blessed and touched by the icons.
Indeed.
She smiles. Very well. You can imagine now why she sits on the council despite her young years.
Indeed, yes. We can see why.
I suggest that we tell Farouk that we would like to... Farouk, I know, takes time. He climbs up to the very roof of the distillery and sits there to have a quiet drink by himself. I think it may be wise that we suggest that we start our tour there so that we can speak openly with him without the others hearing.
That sounds sensible.
Sounds perfect. Yes.
Just before we get to that point, Fazira, having now understood the offer that we are presenting, is that something that is attractive to you, and would you wish to take it up? And would you wish to take it up even if you felt that your other council members were in opposition to that judgment?
It is something that is definitely worth further consideration. I am concerned, however, about, unless you have dissembled and fooled us all. You said you had landed at the village whose name I can't remember, the town whose name I can't remember.
Which we did.
I couldn't remember it either. Yes.
Didn't we call it Moss Oisley or something?
Yeah, I think we did. Yes, but I think that's because we couldn't remember what it was called. You have arrived at that den of scum and villainy, and taken a boat here. So
that is correct. Yes.
Before any of us or you get off world, we need to travel there.
Yes.
Yes, that is correct.
That is a concern. I may choose not to go with you.
Why is that a concern?
Well, it's 3 days travel.
I mean,
on the ground.
Is it 3 days? I can't remember. It's considerable travel. I'll remember the details.
But is that a concern because you feel that those who would oppose your departure would take steps to prevent you leaving?
Maybe.
Or is it a concern because Yala also raised a concern that having 3 members of the council away for such a period might not be acceptable to the village? So maybe
that too.
Only 2 potentially would come with us.
That may be a wise decision to make, particularly if the 3 who have spoken openly in council about expanding our horizons are the 3 who have suddenly decided to take a trip with you to.
Yeah.
So has there been, or is there already some tension in the council then about the plans for the future?
She smiles and says, I would not call it tension. We are a well-oiled team, a machine. There's little disagreement, but I lead these people. And she looks out now across the river, all of these people. And I know many of them better than they know themselves.
And would they trust your judgment if you advised that you needed to leave for a couple of weeks for a trading, under the cover of a trading mission? And it might be a trading mission because you will be able to make some negotiation and arrangement with our employers to your benefit.
But you see, if anybody was doing that, it would be Toran, and yet it is not he who you're inviting. I think we have to potentially use some subterfuge.
Could we take you and Farouk and Toran, perhaps, but then we leave Toran in stasis whilst you have your meeting, and then we arrange a proper cover? And so all he would understand was that we were going through a cover.
Discussing with Farouk, but I will tell you now, before we discuss it with Farouk, be very careful about suggesting that to Farouk. Only do it if the time is right. Did you see how Turan talked about Farouk at breakfast?
I probably did, but it was a month ago, so I can't remember.
But it was only this morning when
So much has happened. It feels like a month.
Exactly. It's been such a busy day.
Farouk enjoys. I believe you said.
Oh, he's a tippler.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And Turan was not kind in the way he brought that up.
Yep. Fair enough. So
shall we go to the distillery?
Don't get on. Yes, let's do that.
Because I'm aware we've only got 10 minutes. This is great conversation, guys. Lovely role playing, but we have only got 10 minutes. And I'd like to at least have finished this meeting that you planned to have a month ago. This session. And seeing there was you worried that I was going to kill you in the next half hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, there's no way I'm going to kill you because you just talked. Anyway.
Just keep talking. Exactly. Yeah. Keep talking. You can't kill us.
So as planned, she introduces you to Farouk and suggests that you start with a little wink. She suggests that you start the tour up on the roof.
Yeah.
And he leads you up through a number of staircases past these bubbling stills that, he's producing quite a lot of this rice wine. And then onto a broad flat roof where he's got a little hammock arranged and a little shrine to the dancer arranged. And there's also a little table with some glasses on and a bottle of his rice wine underneath in the shade. There's some other cushions up there as well, just enough or slightly more than enough for you, but you get the impression you are going into his private space.
I'm going to ask him politely if he would allow me the honor of just saying a word at the shrine of the dancer that he's got.
Oh, you're going to get yourself an extra bonus on hand-to-hand combat if required. Well, of course, that's not what he responds.
Yeah.
That was me as GM saying that.
Yes. I just thought it's an opportunity because I'm not going to lose my. I'm not going to. Does this count as a chapel then? Does it?
Yeah, I would say, given your chutzpah in suggesting it, then it will count as a chapel.
Okay, cool. I'll just say a brief prayer to the dancer, and I'll thank him for allowing me the honor to say a word at his shrine.
Okay. Looking, I'm just about you feel slightly kindred spirit with him. He was once upon a time the ship's engineer. He's a big, well-muscled fellow. He's got a certain casualness about him, but also a certain preciseness. He smiles indulgently when he says this. Of course, who am I to stop a man from praying?
I'm honored. Yep. Okay.
The image of the dancer is more bestial than many
beastly.
have seen.
Yeah.
It's a shrine to the dancer.
Yep. Okay, I'll do that, and then I'll hand over to Yaqub to do the talking.
Right. Okay. So Yaqub. Oh well, no. I think now here I'm gonna not make you broach the conversation. I think she is going to show her trust in you by explaining to Farouk. She says, "These gentlemen have come to make an offer. It is an offer that I think we should not tell the other council members. They have come from some distance away as ambassadors," and she looks to you for confirmation here, Yaqub, as ambassadors of the... Can we overrun a little bit? Because I think this is kind of important.
I'm okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fine by me.
Okay. As ambassadors of the Zenithian hegemony, and she raises her eyebrows
Yeah,
at you.
I not. Yes.
And there, and she smiles at him. Their intelligence operation, and she looks at you again and raises an eyebrow. The Asturban
And I'll nod again.
would like to negotiate with those of us who are willing to negotiate. And he doesn't show his emotions very well. He's a kind of taciturn sort of fellow. When I say very well, very openly.
Yeah.
But he nods grimly, and he's not shocked or disgusted by the idea. He says, well then, perhaps we should, and he looks around the roof, and there's nobody on the roof. Perhaps we should drink and discuss this further. And he pours then some of this rice wine for you all. My concern, sorry.
Can I just have a quick observation? Can I divine anything untoward about his demeanor in providing us with this beverage?
I will get you to make an observation versus his manipulation. Not that I'm saying there is anything in there.
Yeah, I just, we have now shown all our cards, and if they then knocked us out with something that's in the rice wine.
Okay.
I'm pushing that, Matt.
Okay, I'll take a extra dice.
Okay, I got one success after pushing with my fabulous.
Well, you don't notice him doing any sleight of hand stuff. And
nothing in his demeanor that looks like he's doing anything.
And nothing, he's not looking to poison you. He says almost to her rather than to you. He says, well, my first concern is the reaction of the others. And then he turns to you and says, do you have a ship nearby?
We have a ship at Mos Eisley.
Mos Eisley.
How do you pronounce it?
He says,
we can't bring that ship nearby. We don't need to bring it into the town itself. Or we could land it a few hours out.
Yeah, that is an option.
No, nor keeps those systems. Ask me and my team to keep those detection system on the. And he points towards the ship, the ship that's now the heart of the village. He says the detection systems on there will spot anything, and an alarm will be raised.
Okay.
And then he turns.
We could come up with some story that would allow you to leave for a few days.
He looks at Basira and says, "But not all of us. Not the two of us. One of us should stay. Maybe it should be me. Maybe it should be you that stays."
Who would be the best representative to best negotiate your position with the Asturban?
Well, obviously, says Basira, more to him than to you. Obviously, it would be better if I were there. And she smiles at him, slightly condescendingly. I should tell you, they have met Ela, and of course, she is fully cognizant of their motives. And again, she smiles at him. It should be the two of you then, you and Ela.
Is that what Farouk
I will
says?
stay here and cover your retreat.
So who says that? Basira.
He's saying it to Basira. But still, he says, you should leave in darkness.
Would Ela be the right choice for what we might portray as a trading mission?
He turns to you and
feels
says,
like
to explain
negotiating. It does feel like that the two of you would be potentially more
Ela is a
beneficial
12-year-old girl
most
for negotiation.
impactful.
who is
River
not
Tam.
necessarily.
I mean, sorry.
Not necessarily. Let us say she is very honest and open, as befits somebody to whom everybody is honest and open. It would be better that she wasn't left here to cover our absence. I may be thought of as a drunkard, but I am loyal to this crew and to you, Basira, of course.
Pardon me.
I think I could do a better job than Eula.
Do a better job than Ela in the negotiations.
No, in covering for your absence while you are gone.
What cover do we use for Ela's requirement to come on the journey? I can understand our cover for Basira as the de facto leader of the council, and I could understand our cover for you, Farouk, as the expert in the trades and the manufacturing that you do here. Ela, as a 12-year-old shaman, does that make sense for her to go on a trading mission if we are going to use that as the cover to justify your departure from here for a week or two?
Much as we don't wish to argue with
Ideally, we'd like to take all three of you, but if that wasn't possible, then we need to work out what the best cover will be. Sorry, Tone.
And it does very well. I was only going to check so that when we make the manipulate roll, I get to do it.
Yes, that's fine. Well done.
Sorry.
Just tell me to shut up. Tell me to shut up. Yes.
And it returns to, again, this conversation, although they're politely including you, they keep speaking to each other.
Yeah.
And so, although he's answering your question, he answers it to Basira, and he says, I suggest the cover of darkness. Let us not negotiate your departure. Let you and the girl go. We could do it tonight, even with a little bit of preparation. There's a boat that, in the docks that you can take. Let me just have a quick look at their skills. I'm assuming one of you, he looks for the two of you for the first time and says one of you could pilot it.
If it's piloting skill, then yes.
It would be piloting skill, yes.
Yeah.
So he sees your acceptance. So you could leave under cover of darkness, and I could tell the others that you have that Ela has taken you on a vision quest out into the wildlands, but you will return shortly. I think that might work, but only when people ask. And we need not talk. And again, he's looking at her and he waves his hand a little bit dismissively at Yaqub and Oshian. And he says, and these two need not even figure in the conversation.
Mm. Sounds like a plan that we could work with.
And he turns to you, Tony, and speaks to you directly, unless you have a better idea.
No, I don't think I do. As Oshian said, I think our plan was
Sadly, we don't. No, because
our plan
sadly we can't come up with a plan to keep Ela here. The little mind-reading bitch. Because I've only got 3 empathy, and I'm going to really struggle to.
Well, neither of you, by the rules, can hide your thoughts.
Oh, true.
Unless I'm being a bit generous and giving you an empathy roll.
Yeah.
Or if one of you was a mystic, I might let you make mystic powers, but neither of you are. But the person who kind of needs convincing, I think, is Basira, because she kind of turns to her thoughts. If you two are being convinced,
I just can't think of a good argument that we haven't tried to not have Ela come with us. And I think what we probably have to do is then just focus on the objective is getting into stasis. Get into stasis. Let's get out of here. For the portal jump. And then once they're in stasis, we can do what we like. But we're not thinking that. We're just thinking, we've got to get into stasis for the jump. Get into stasis for the jump. Crew safety. Crew safety. Passenger safety. Get into stasis for the jump.
I can imagine you saying, no, of course, we must remember our notes. Tony, Yaqub, think this. Remind, what is the checklist for...
yeah, exactly. Well, I think also we've got a good excuse because we were in...
yes, a dangerous...
Eri, or wherever it was, where we very nearly died going through stasis. So portal jump procedures are tight as hell on my ship.
Okay, I'm gonna so you're out on the roof and she goes to look out over the village, and then she points out, and I brought the map back into place here.
Yeah.
She points out, I think I'm going to zoom in here, this pier here.
Yeah.
And she says, it will take some preparation. But if you meet us here at the middle of the night, I will be waiting. And she turns back to him and to Farouk and says, and yes, I will take Ela.
Can you zoom out slightly, Matt?
Okay.
Not too far. I just want to look at that corner. So I think I want to, in advance, do a little bit of kind of staking out of the area and a bit of infiltration in order to be able to observe what's going on here during the late evening and the early night before she turns up. Just to make sure that we're not being double-crossed.
Shall we leave that till next week, though? Because we're running over now.
Okay.
So as you think that, as you look across the...
Yep.
Look across the thing, and she says, so I must meet Ela, tell her of the plans. You must provide me, she says, with some samples to take for, although we have a higher motive, we are still looking to sell your rice wine, she says to Farouk. I suggest you two stay with in your lodgings until the appropriate time, and we shall meet then on that pier. She nods out there again.
And I think
very darkest hour of the night.
And for the sake of show, I think we should be seen to be given the tour with Farouk
Yes.
of the distillery.
Of course, you are right. It will take some time, but we should do that. You are absolutely right. I can see why the Asturban sent you. She says with a smile. And so there is a tour of the distillery and more samples of wine. And anything else you briefly want to do before Dave goes off to do his reconnoiter?
I don't think so. And I think that reconnoiter, I don't want it to look too, like
obvious.
clandestine.
I think you want it to look obvious, not clandestine.
Well, I want the fact that I'm wandering around throughout the town to be fairly obvious, and again use my kind of covert infiltration skills to be able to observe that area whilst kind of fitting in, as it were, rather than hiding in a bush.
Just having a stroll about town.
Yeah.
Shall we do a quick roll then?
Yeah, we can do that. Yep. Okay.
So this is later. This is after the. This is after the thing. Observation, is that a wits roll?
Yes.
And you are doing infiltration.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Well, I've got 2 successes, but I wonder whether is it worth getting more successes just to be on the safe side here, Tom?
Possibly, yeah. You don't want to be
All right. I will
raising any
push.
suspicions with you.
I will push, Matt.
Okay.
So I have a darkness point, and I get a 3rd. So I got 3 successes on my infiltration.
Okay. I'm going to roll against that. See what we get. Okay. So you're scanning out the area. When you bump into and it's fine. You bump into Farouk.
Okay.
And he
So he spots me, does he?
yeah.
Okay.
And he is delivering a couple of crates of rice wine. And he says, you shouldn't be quite so obvious.
I got 3 6s on 5 fucking dice. So that's pretty bloody good going.
I got 6 successes.
6?
On Farouk.
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't be so fucking observant then, mate. God, blimey, you must have like 30 dice or something.
No, he's only got
5 dice.
He's got 5 wits and 4 in observation. So he's got 9 dice. But still, 6 successes is
pretty
not
good.
bad. Yeah.
No. Okay.
So he was.
I suspect that nobody else probably kind of saw what you saw, Farouk.
Yes, he says, although he's head of security, Toran Matouche is neither as quick-witted nor as observant as I am.
I can see where the strength of the council lies, Farouk.
It is getting dark. Do you plan to stay here until the meeting point?
No, I just like to understand the ground of where I'm going later on. Like to be well prepared.
Very well. And where is Yaqub now?
I think I've probably just gone back to our lodging.
I think he's up the old sea dog. Where's the old sea dog?
Sea dog.
Well, on a Tuesday, he's normally in bed with the captain.
Well, let me say, I will
Blackadder.
obviously,
Blackadder reference.
I will not be here this evening, he says. So let me wish you a good journey.
Icon's blessing on you, Farouk, and your future endeavours.
Indeed. And
You
that's
got-
where we shall end it, shall we?
Yep, that sounds good. You
Brilliant.
dastardly Nazareem sacrifice scum.
Whoops!
I'm not saying or thinking that.
Don't worry, there's nobody around here to read your thoughts. There is we are ready for next week, though. Are we all good for next week?
Yes.
Yeah,
You're
next
not
week.
on holiday day, or anything?
Week after.
No, nobody in your household's got COVID? Tony?
Not yet.
Or,
No, everyone most out has just had COVID and recovered from it.
Is
so
that a persistent cough that you've got there, Tony?
yeah, it is a little bit. It can carry on for weeks after. Apparently.
Right. Jolly good. Well,
You're not infectious anymore, are you, Tim?
No.
I just want to say
You only have
thank you
to-
to everybody who watched. We've had Phil. We've had Phil.
Thanks,
Greeley.
guys.
We've had Bruce. We've had Thomas. I believe we've had Mohammed, and we've had other people as well. Jonathan Pay. Everybody's popped in.
We've
for
had
a bit. So
everyone.
thank you to our listeners. Remember to like this video and to subscribe and press the notification bell, and then we shall see you next week.
Next week, next Monday, for
Next Monday.
another
at
exciting
8:30.
hour and a half of me and Tony not getting to the meat of the scenario. Excellent.
No, I think I have carefully manipulated you into the point with the meat of the scenario.
It's only taken 6 episodes.
that I think will be the last episode of the scenario, but we shall see
Ambitious,
how it goes.
ambitious claim.
Indeed. Cool.
Brilliant. Yeah, of course, don't have a big fight that will take
Like 3 months.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Episode ago. But I'm going to end the broadcast now.
thanks
Thank
for
you
watching,
very
everybody.
much.
See you next time.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody. I'm just going to
Bye.
type thank you, everyone.
Bye. Type thank you.
And say
Oh,
goodbye.
Mohammed.